Most Ubisoft open-world games are built around checklists, hours, icons, and endless busy work. Immortals Phoenix Rising isn't. It succeeds because it abandons that checklist design and commits fully to exploration as its core loop. That's why it still stands out today. Immortals Phoenix Rising is an open-world adventure game developed by Ubisoft Quebec. It's clearly inspired by Breath of the Wild, but reimagined through a playful Greek mythology lens. Instead of overwhelming you with systems and objectives, it builds everything around curiosity, movement, and discovery. And that focused game design is what makes this game work. The main hook of Immortals Phoenix Rising is its exploration-driven gameplay. The entire game is built around that core. You can go anywhere, climb anything, and glide across vast stretches of terrain. And speaking of climbing, Immortals Phoenix Rising uses the same stamina-based climbing system you'll recognize from Breath of the Wild. You can scale any vertical surface as long as your stamina bar holds out. Gliding is also a major part of traversal and easily the most efficient way to cross the game's massive open world. It feels good and it makes vertical movement more rewarding than just a climb up and a climb down. The world is divided into 4 main regions, each themed after a Greek god. Every area reflects the god's personality and lore, giving each region its own identity. But no matter where you go, your first major objective is always the same. Climb the giant statue of the region's god to scout your surroundings using Farsight. This mechanic is Ubisoft's twist on that old tower scouting formula from Assassin's Creed and Far Cry 3. But here, it's implemented in a more hands-on and engaging way. Instead of simply revealing everything on your map, Farsight has you manually scan the world to mark points of interest, and you can even use it anytime, not just from the top of statues. It's a small but meaningful change that encourages exploration instead of just checklist chasing. Statues also double as fast travel points, and because they're huge and centrally located, they're great launchpads for gliding into nearby objectives. Once you've surveyed the area, you'll spot several types of points of interest. The most important ones are vaults. They are instant puzzle dungeons, with some of them being tied to a main quest, while most of them are optional. These are filled with physics-based challenges, traps, and platforming puzzles. Most of the puzzles are unique, with only the occasional repeat here and there. Some vaults ditch the puzzles entirely and throw you into combat arenas with waves of enemies and environmental hazards like spikes or lasers. Each vault contains a hidden chest with crafting ingredients, upgrade materials, and usually a piece of gear. You're rewarded with Zeus's lightning, which is used to increase your stamina. Health upgrades come from ambrosia, which is usually perched on mountain peaks or high towers and easily spotted using Farsight thanks to their shimmering glow. Other points of interest include navigation challenges, which are time trials where you must race to a goal using parkour, gliding, or whatever mobility tricks you've got. Constellation challenges are these multi-step puzzles where you place these blue orbs in the correct spots to recreate the constellation shown on the central board. Odysseus challenges are basically archery challenges where you guide a controllable arrow through rings. Fresco challenges are sliding puzzles with 4 tiles. Lyres, which are hidden around the map. Each lyre plays a short melody, you'll need to memorize or note it down and replay it on a corresponding large lyre. All of these award Heron coins, which are used to upgrade your abilities. You'll also find chests throughout the world, and these fall into 3 categories. Standard chests, which are usually behind small puzzles. These only reward you with crafting ingredients. There are guarded chests, which are protected by monsters. These reward you with a weapon or an armor piece. And then there are moon chests, which are similar to guarded chests, but only openable at night, and they are guarded by tougher enemies. Hidden in remote areas are world bosses, massive enemies that pose a real challenge and drop valuable loot. Stumbling upon one, hitting up for the fight, finally taking it down, is one of the most satisfying parts of exploring. I think that covers the full scope of Immortals Phoenix Rising's exploration systems. Everything ties back into the main loop. Go somewhere, find something, solve or fight your way through it, get stronger. It's a classic structure, but it works. And the game constantly rewards your curiosity. I was always chasing the next thing in the distance, and getting sidetracked never felt like a waste of time. And that's the mark of a good exploration game. But how well do other elements like story, combat and progression support that loop? Do they elevate the experience or drag it down? Moving on with the story, the game kicks off with a short cutscene introducing the main antagonist, Typhon. Typhon is a giant angry titan who has attacked the gods of Mount Olympus and is basically trying to end the world. You know, the standard apocalyptic stuff. Right after we meet Zeus and Prometheus, Zeus shows up Prometheus' prison looking for help dealing with Typhon. And in response, Prometheus begins telling the tale of a mortal hero, Phoenix. From here on out, the entire game is framed as a story Prometheus is narrating to Zeus, complete with ongoing commentary and banter between the two as you play. Once the premise is set, you're dropped into character creation. You can choose between a male or female Phoenix and customize their appearance, though the options are limited and frankly a bit bland. After that, the actual adventure begins. Phoenix washes up shipwrecked on a mysterious shore, only to discover that their entire crew has been turned into stone. Phoenix sets out to find their older brother, Ligeron, who is a decorated war hero and the leader of the crew, but he is nowhere to be found. This sets the stage. Phoenix is a nobody trying to fill the shoes of a legendary sibling. Early on, you'll pick up your first sword, bow, and shield and get familiar with basic mechanics. Combat, climbing, gliding, and interacting with the world's many puzzle systems. This opening area acts as a tutorial, but it doesn't feel like one. You're free to explore and tackle objectives in any order you want, and it takes about an hour if you try to clear everything. What I appreciate is how well paced it is. The game introduces all its core systems without ever holding your hand. It's a smart, natural way to ease players into the game. Eventually, you meet Hermes, the messenger of the gods. He brings you to the Hall of the Gods and lays out the main objective: restore the four fallen gods, Aphrodite, Ares, Athena, and Hephaestus, to their true forms, and team up to stop Typhon once and for all. It's a simple story, and that's a good thing. The game doesn't bury you in lore dumps or endless cutscenes. It gives you just enough to care, and then gets out of the way so you can explore. And because it leans into Greek mythology, most of the themes and characters feel familiar without needing a ton of explanation. The writers didn't reinvent the wheel, they instead just gave it a cheeky spin. The humor deserves a mention too. Prometheus and Zeus constantly crack jokes throughout your journey, and the tone is light, sometimes ridiculous, but rarely annoying. It's not trying too hard to be edgy or overly childish. Sure, some of the jokes are dumb or over the top, but that's part of the charm. Overall, the story does exactly what it needs to do. It sets up the world, gives you clear objectives, and keeps the mood light. Best of all, it doesn't waste your time. And in a game built around exploration, that's a huge win. Combat in Immortals Phoenix Rising is simple, but surprisingly effective. You've got two main melee weapons, sword for quick light attacks, and a great axe for slower, heavy-hitting swings. The sword doesn't do much damage, but it regenerates stamina with every hit. The axe, on the other hand, hits harder and builds up an enemy's stun meter, which is the secondary bar beneath their health. Once the stun meter is full, the enemy is stunned for a few seconds and takes extra damage. It's a nice mechanic that adds a bit of strategy without overcomplicating things. Early on, I found myself using the sword for easier mobs and the great axe for tougher enemies and bosses. But once I unlocked and upgraded the godly powers, I shifted almost entirely to the sword. That stamina regeneration became too valuable for me. More stamina means more frequent godly power spam, and those abilities can break the game in your favor. The godly powers are essentially high impact abilities you unlocked using Haron coins. Some are utility based like Heracles' Strength, which let you lift and throw massive objects, while others are for pure offense. My favorite was Athena's Dash. It's a damaging charge that also protects you from hits. When this ability is fully upgraded, it's absurdly powerful. All godly powers deal both regular and stun damage, but more importantly, they grant a few frames of invisibility while staggering every enemy hit, and this includes bosses. By the late game, you can chain these powers to completely control a fight, staggering enemies, dodging damage, and landing massive hits without ever needing to parry or dodge properly. It's broken in the best kind of way. Outside of that, you'll unlock passive abilities, things like extended melee combos, slow motion bow aiming while airborne, or enhanced parries. Some are purely combat focused, while others improve traversal or resource gathering. They're small bonuses, but they add up. The game also throws in a stealth system, but honestly, it feels half-baked. It's functional but clunky, and honestly, it just feels out of place. Same goes for Phosphor. Cool concept, but outside of the occasional harpy fight, I didn't find him that useful. By the way, Phosphor is this phoenix bird companion that follows you around. Instead, a well-timed arrow or a pull ability usually does the job better. As for defense, you've got two main pools, parry and dodge. Parrying is generous and easy to pull off, and it deals stun damage while opening up enemies to counterattacks. With the right gear, parries can even trigger special effects, but some attacks marked in red are unparryable and must be dodged. Dodge is the safer option overall, it's spammable, responsive, and can be chained into combos easily. If you time it perfectly, you'll trigger a short slow-mo window, letting you act faster than your enemies. A skilled player can absolutely abuse this, weaving in and out of danger and punishing enemies without ever taking a hit. Oh, and don't forget about your bow either. It's not just for puzzles, it can be deadly in combat too. It's great for picking off airborne enemies like harpies or softening up enemies from a distance. And always aim for the head. Headshots deal extra damage and can trigger bonus effects. Then there are the potions. You get 4 types: health, stamina, attack and defense. Health and stamina potions are obvious essentials, they'll save your ass more than once. The offensive and defensive potions though can be game changers if you upgrade them. A fully buffed up Phoenix can walk into a boss fight and wipe the floor with minimal effort. So yeah, the combat isn't ultra deep or particularly difficult unless maybe you're playing on the hardest difficulty, but it doesn't really need to be. It's flashy, satisfying, surprisingly flexible, and at times it can even be challenging. It stays fun throughout the entire game and it never overstays its welcome. Immortals Fenyx Rising isn't trying to be the greatest action game, and that's just perfectly fine. Progression mainly revolves around skills, godly powers, and gear upgrades. Each weapon and armor piece comes with 2 passive perks that tweak combat in interesting ways. Stuff like dealing extra damage to unique enemies, or healing a chunk of health on the final sword combo hit. It actually adds some excitement to looting chests, and trying out new gear to test their abilities is always fun. The strongest armor set is the reward you get for defeating all 4 wraiths. I don't recall its exact name, but what it does is it cuts down the cooldown time of your godly powers and lowers the stamina cost. Equip this set and you basically turn into an unstoppable god. Potion upgrades also matter. Health and stamina potions become more potent, letting you recover more per potion consumed. Strength and defense potions get better buffs, and efficiency upgrades too. For example, the strength potion can boost stun damage, but honestly, I didn't find that upgrade that useful since I mainly stuck to the sword mostly. The partial projectile deflect from the defense potion isn't much use either because ranged enemy attacks are rare. However, the lifesteal of the strength potion and the damage reflection from the defense potion both amazing. You'll regain health quickly and bounce damage back onto attackers, which scales really well. Phosphor, your bird companion, also has unlockable abilities that also change its look. You will find different Phosphor abilities and skins by defeating world bosses. You can also find and tame wild horses scattered around the open world. You can use horses to speed up travel, but honestly, they feel slower than gliding and don't really add much. My guess, they exist mostly to sell you skins in the in-game store. Let's not forget, this is an Ubisoft game. Speaking of skins, each weapon and armor set has 3 or 4 variants, unlocked through chests. If you get a duplicate weapon, you don't just get junk, you unlock the next skin for that item. Even better, the game lets you transmute your gear's appearance, so you never have to sacrifice style or stats. Want to look cool while using your favorite powerful sword? No problem, you can do that using the transmute system. The transmutation system is a surprisingly thoughtful touch, even if it's probably also a way to sell you microtransactions. Either way, it supports exploration nicely. You're motivated to hunt for new gear just to check out their look. And that's a rare win in today's loot-driven games.
No one gives a buck about me now.
Since I already brought it up, let's quickly talk about the microtransactions. Naturally, this is an Ubisoft game, so yes, microtransactions are included here. Thankfully they're only cosmetic, but still, having microtransactions in a single-player game is a disgrace. The store is literally one of the first options you will get to see upon launching the game, along with ads about the game's DLC. And then there's the name, Immortals Phoenix Rising. It sounds like some low-budget Eastern mobile game. Hell, it even sounds like 3 random words that were randomly smashed together. Originally, Ubisoft wanted to call it Gods and Monsters, but thanks to a ridiculous trademark dispute with Monster Energy, the energy drink company, they had to scrap that name. Classic corporate nonsense, but it is what it is. Anyway, those were just a couple of small nitpicks before we wrap this up. Let's move on with the closing remarks and wrap up the video.
Fine. It's your funeral. Rest in pieces. Before you go, realistically, you have 0 chance. But let's make it 0.1 with my blessing.
Immortals Phoenix Rising stands out because it proves that open world games don't need bloat to feel rich. When every system exists to support exploration, curiosity becomes the reward itself instead of being a chore. The story stays out of the way, progression reinforces discovery, and combat exists to keep movement and momentum fun rather than slow you down. Everything fits the same core loop, and that clarity is rare, especially in Ubisoft's catalog. Immortals Phoenix Rising isn't just a good adventure game, it's a reminder that focused design still matters, and that's why it's worth thinking about today.
Titans and obliterate the gods.
Do not be sorry. Be better.
Hey everyone, thanks so much for sticking around to the end of the video. Please take a moment and leave a comment telling me what you thought about this video format, what you liked or didn't like, if this structure works for you, where I talk about a single game in a video, or if I should stick to what I've previously done in my Middle-earth Nemesis video or the Crisis video, where instead I tackle multiple games, whether they be from the same series or not. In any case, I'd really appreciate your feedback. With videos like these, I'm not aiming to make a straight-up review. This is more about looking at the game through a design lens and sharing my personal experience with it. I'm not trying to tell you whether to buy it at full price on sale or skip it. Just talking through what works, what doesn't, what's interesting, and why. That said, I get that it still kind of feels like a review, since I'm sharing my opinion after all. Either way, let me know what you thought of this format and what I could improve for the next time. Starting from this year, I would like to take this channel in a more focused way, where I talk about the design behind the games, what my experience was or how I felt while playing them, and generally talking about things that I find interesting. But of course, always putting video games as the focus of the video. Anyway, your opinion matters to me, share your opinion below, and thanks again for watching.
So yeah, a lot of fighting and losing. And now you are our only remaining hope to restore these lands to their former glory and save the world from chaos. All we have, Phoenix, is you. No pressure.
I kinda lost track of who's who. Is that one with the spiky hair you or Typhon?
Forget it.
Well, that's the end of Phoenix. Perfectly passable storytelling. I won't lie, there were moments that dragged, but you really got me with that ending. Now, let's settle up. Time for you to help me against Typhon.
It's not over yet. Not by a long shot.